please.
President Byrne?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Here.
Trustee Schwartz?
Here.
Trustee Williams?
Here.
Trustee Hebda?
Here.
Trustee Schultz?
Here.
Trustee Marquardt?
Here.
We have a quorum present. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, yeah. All right. Okay. Are there any citizens that wish to address the board this evening? Anybody? Oops, sorry. Need a pen. Sure. You got a pen? Gracia. I don't care. All right, thank you. Okay. Village Manager Kalmer's Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting, Laurence M. Nakrin.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just wanted to recognize Larry this year. Again, we have received, or he has received, a Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. This is the 21st award that Larry has received in his career here with Vernon Hills, and quite honestly, he told me that there were several other occasions where he felt like he was robbed, that he should have gotten some other ones too. So,
I believe it.
So obviously, this recognition is a credit to this board and you, Your Honor, and Larry for his great work over the years. And I just wanted to extend both congratulations to Larry and his team for a great job again this year, and look forward to seeing a few more of those plaques on the wall, or the little dimes that they're giving us now. So.
Larry, do you have anything you want to say?
Just too many microphones in front of me. Just again, I've gotten tremendous support from the board, and you know, and from my staff, and so you know, it couldn't have happened without that level of support. So I'm very grateful.
And you're not leaving anytime soon, right?
No.
We figured. Couple of 3 years?
Your Honor, we're trying not to pin him down on that, so.
Yeah, okay.
It changes from hour to hour.
Yeah, okay, all right.
It depends on who's yelling at
Okay.
you.
You know, you've
I know
got,
that feeling.
here's the bottom line. If we attract some place that really, truly makes New York pizza, New York style pizza, would that entice you to stay a while?
You know, Chicago already has the best pizza in the world.
Really?
Yeah, it happens to be a guy from Worcester, Massachusetts who makes it, but it is the best pizza in the world.
And he's located where?
Oh, on Armitage near Housestead.
All right, did you go to Romano's?
No, I still haven't done
You
that.
gotta go there before somebody catches up with him. He's in, Rosemont. He used to be in Des Plaines, but he kind of wore out his welcome in Des Plaines. But it's very good pizza. I told you that.
Yeah,
Right there on Higgins, Higgins,
yeah, definitely.
between River and Manheim. So, okay, fine. All right, congratulations, Larry.
Thank you.
And the press is here. Will they print this or no? God only knows, right? Okay. All right. Proclamation Arbor Day, a Tree City, USA community signs ash trees. Signs, the one that was on my Parkway.
Well, there you go.
Signs given that bare aspirin stuff for 3 years, so. Okay.
The proclamation, Your Honor, whereas having recognized the economic, aesthetic, and environmental value of thriving community forest brings brings to its residents and visitors, and whereas the Village of Vernon Hills has and continues to commit to reforestation of land within its corporate boundary and to prudent management of its existing forest resources, and whereas the village shall continue to enhance its reforestation and forestry management policies and practices and shall continue to dedicate financial resources over and above Tree City USA requirements. And whereas the Tree City USA flag shall be flown at the Public Works Building on Arbor Day, April 25th, 2014, to honor those residents and volunteers who have participated in the program of activities sponsored by the village. Be it therefore resolved that I, Roger L. Byrne, President of the Village of Vernon Hills, do hereby proclaim that the Village of Vernon Hills shall officially observe Arbor Day on May 10th, 2014, and encourage citizens to participate in appropriate activities and to take advantages of benefits of the parks and other natural areas in the community, in our community. And that's set forth this day, April 15th, 2014. I know Dave and his team have worked up a little event on May 10th and invites everybody out to come and enjoy that day, assuming it doesn't snow, of
Where's
course.
that one at?
And Dave can tell you.
It's out at the award-winning Hazeltine Stream Bank Stabilization Project. We've lined up the Cub Scouts. They're going to help us with planting some smaller bushes, and then we have some trees to add to the site.
And that's along the CV.
It's along the CV drainage way, and it's
Creek/ditch.
absolutely due east of Butterfield Road, north of Huntington. First street to the east is Hazeltine. I think we're starting at 9 o'clock.
Okay. So this will be like, an adventure to get there for most people, right?
I think a lot of people are planning different events around the county in Vernon Hills. This is our one specific location. We've lined up a lot of support already. If other people want to stop out and join us, we'd like to have them.
Okay.
And in Your Honor, one other thing real quick. I know I don't have it on the agenda, but I wanted to officially welcome our new Assistant Village Manager, Director of Community Development, Joe Carey, to the staff, his first meeting, and we're pleased to have him here. So, or your second meeting? Is it your second meeting? Well, first official?
First official.
There you go.
All right, well,
Sorry.
So,
here
welcome.
for Joe.
Yes.
Okay. So how many days have been here?
Days?
Well, it's days.
Seven.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
A whole week.
Well, that's good. Keeps coming back. Yeah, that's good too. Okay, all right. Next, nobody else has a speaking part. Omnibus vote agenda. Is there a motion to approve items A through O? O through W. So A through W.
One question, Mr. President, and I guess really it's a question for Larry. H is in here. Do we need, again, sometimes you like separate votes on our financial activities. Would you like a separate vote on H?
That would probably, given the magnitude of the
So then I request that H be pulled for a
Okay.
separate vote.
All right, H is pulled. Anybody else want to pull anything?
Well, if we could see it.
How about the tuck pointing? No, I'm only kidding. Okay, fine. All right, so is there a motion to approve items A through G, I through W?
So made.
Second.
Motion is second. Comments, questions? If none, roll call.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, H, approval and passage of resolution 2014-054, resolution adopting an annual budget for the Village of Vernon Hills for the fiscal year commencing May 1, 2014, ending April 30th, 2015. What is this? just shy of 30 million, or is it more than that?
Just because of the complications of the issue, we took out the police station, so the actual overall budget is 26,826,735. The budgeted expenditures are 25,629,735. Without the duplication of the dispatch transfers, 24,455,735. So that's the overall expenditures budget.
All right, so you're looking for the 24
Well, actually,
Or the 26.
and then we add in.
or the 29?
Then we go ahead and we add in 700,000 for the golf course, even though that's really dictated by business conditions. So the resolution itself calls for the approval of 27,526,735, and that's resolution 2014-054.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second. Any comments or questions? If none, roll call.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Motion carries. Was that Schultz, Schwartz?
Schwartz.
Okay. Okay.
No, we're not related.
All right, motion carries. Okay, unfinished additional business. A, approval of Kemper voucher list of bills dated April 15th, 2014 in the amount of $13,640.66.
Motion approved.
Comments or questions? If none, roll call, please.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Abstain.
And for the record, I'd vote aye. B, approval of the April 1st, 2014 Village Board meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So made.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments, questions, deletions, corrections? If none, roll call, please.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Abstain.
Abstain? Okay. Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Okay, motion carries. C, approval and passage of resolution 2014-047, resolution granting approval to operate an outdoor dining and seating establishment for Smash Burger located at 426 Hawthorne Center. Is there a motion to approve?
So made.
Second.
Motion and a second, comments or questions? What is the outdoor seating capacity again?
28 customers?
Huh?
28.
Okay, and how, how close is it to the curb?
It's approximately 16 feet from the curb.
How many?
16?
Is your mic on?
16?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're
All right, so six,
You seem to be awful low, because you're,
yeah, okay. Well, you're sharing mics, huh? All right, well, 16 feet, and there'll be what, some kind of a barrier used for that purpose? To segregate the seating, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, there'll be a black aluminum fence around the seating area.
Not the original corral.
No,
not the corral.
And then, yeah, not the original fence. And then to go from inside the restaurant through the main door, you end up right into the outside outdoor dining. You don't have to be first in a general area and then get back into the fenced-in area.
And
But you can enter the fenced area directly from the outside, which
That-
is going to require me to vote no when we get to the vote.
That's correct.
well, is there a reason for that?
Well, yeah, with the floor plan, this is a very narrow, deep space. And the way Smashburger, the way they're set up is they anticipate a long queuing line. So you wait in line, and there's an area just for people to wait in line. You make your order, then you go sit down, and they bring you the food. So because the space is so narrow, the only place to put a second door to get you into the outdoor dining area would be right where people are queuing and waiting in line. So
Well, okay, how many doors for the public are there?
there's one main entrance that consists of 2 doors. One double door entry.
And that's strictly from the outside of the mall?
Correct.
Is there any way for people to enter from the mall? Well, there is if you blow what, through a wall or something?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, and unfortunately, the plan in front of me focuses just on the main entry, and I don't recall if there's a secondary
I
entrance
do
into the
believe,
mall.
though, when he talked about it, the way that the counters lined up, it does not make itself available for.
But that wouldn't be to their benefit?
The second door,
From the mall, just, walking into the place?
I want to say there is an entrance, but I just can't recall, and the plan I have in front of me only shows the front part of the floor plan, not farther
Even
back.
that wouldn't alleviate Trustee Schultz's concerns.
Right, it had to do with the, if I'm correct, it had to deal with the way the counters lined up and how you
Is
place
there
your
somebody
order.
here from Smashburger?
There is not.
But I know it was a complication.
No, that's why we went through this at great length.
Yeah, I know.
And it was,
But,
The secondary, if there was a secondary entrance, it's not anywhere near the counter. The problem is when you come in the main door, you turn right, and that's where you end up in the queuing line waiting to make your order. And that's right next to where the outdoor dining is. So you're waiting in line, you make your order.
so
then-
people, like in the winter, will be waiting outside?
No, they'll be just inside.
What do you mean,
They gotta
just
go outside
inside?
to eat?
Well, no,
No,
I'm lost.
no, you're not going, no, I mean,
it's a counter.
it's kind of,
yeah,
Here's the outdoor dining.
yeah.
Here's
Why
the main
under that?
door. Now you go in here, and this is where you're waiting in line to get to
we
the
went over
counter.
some great
So
detail.
there's a bunch of people waiting here in line, and they're saying it's too hard to put a door here because then you gotta come back through this left to get out here.
I know.
Or come back out and then get in. So what they do is they put the fence like this.
So where's the entrance for the mall?
But an interior door to the mall is totally irrelevant to the question at hand.
This is what the fence looks
Well,
like.
yeah, I guess
Yeah.
it is.
Here's the outdoor dining area.
Yeah.
Here's the
It's Jim's
entrance to the mall.
aspect of how to.
Okay,
Right.
all right.
But it wouldn't, it wouldn't affect the question at hand that
Yeah.
Trustee Schultz has, and
That's
it
the
doesn't
entry
affect
to
the
the
outdoor seating.
Gotcha.
Okay,
That's the entry to the mall.
okay. All right. So we need a motion
What was
to
his
approve as presented.
So made.
Jim, you had a problem with it?
He wanted it that you could only get into the outdoor by going into the building and then out.
And then
My,
Right.
thank you for
Right.
trying to explain my position, but my position is that they do not have any Bassett-trained employees operating in that outdoor area. According to the testimony they gave, the only Bassett-trained employees were going to be the manager and the assistant manager. I'm hoping and I'm assuming that the cashier needs to be Bassett-trained, because that'll probably be the one that'll be taking the beverage order. So they need to work some things out, but they were only going to bus that area. Now, granted, we have other examples of, exceptions, such as with Tom and Eddie's, which really they don't bus out there, and it is not a captured space. But I guess better late than never, I'm putting my stake in the ground on Smashburger. Sorry for them, but that's how I felt that because you could walk in right out of the parking lot into their seating area, and someone could bring you out a beverage, and there is no Bassett oversight of that area.
Talking about this before.
That was my concern, where I thought there might be a better chance at Tom and Eddie's for some oversight, but again, not necessarily so.
It's the
So
beer market that technically you can enter on the beer.
absolutely,
Either side
someone
of the
could
building.
bring you out a
Okay,
beverage there.
yeah, but you
Yep.
gotta step away from the curb, no pun intended here. You're, the only way you're getting a beverage, I mean, an alcoholic beverage is at the counter. They don't have waitresses walking around out here serving people.
Right, where the
Where
beer
the
market.
beer market's got the waitresses out there hawking the,
Right,
you know, the
and they are
goods.
Bassett trained.
So your
or
concern is
they're
kind of what
supposed to.
mine was about the theater. Anybody can bring you a drink.
Right,
Thank you.
right.
Well, you mean somebody that's your pal, that's sitting in the car and he reaches over the fence? Yeah, well,
16 feet
that would
Well, he
be,
can't quite do that in the 16 feet.
okay.
long stretch.
All right, you
Well, no,
know,
I mean, they could,
okay, we got a motion to approve and a second?
I'm not sure
neither.
anymore.
Hello.
Yes.
okay.
And a second?
Yes.
Okay, roll call.
Trustee Schultz?
No,
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz? Aye. Trustee Williams?
I gotta stick with Jim. No,
No? Okay. Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next item is, I'm gonna do my thing here.
I don't know why mine just changes by itself here. I gotta-
D, approval and pass of resolution 2014-53. A resolution granting approval to the Jacobs Companies LLC to locate a directional sign in the public works property at 490 Greenleaf Drive. What, did the cardboard, simulation give us any insight on this?
It did, Your Honor. We met out there with the police chief, Director of Public Works Brown, and a representative of the developer. And what was before you originally was a 10-foot setback off of Greenleaf. There was no sightline obstruction. Is what we found. And we actually found it could be set back 6 feet from the public sidewalk and still not be a sightline obstruction. And then you'd actually be able to read the sign if you're going
Okay,
south
so
on Butterfield Road.
What's the recommendation from staff?
6 feet from the property line along Greenleaf, 12 feet from the property line along Butterfield.
Okay. Trustee Cook.
No, that's what I was going to ask when you did that. I was hoping the mock-up would give so we could maybe see it, but I didn't, I trust your judgment on it, so.
Yeah, we did it on Friday, and the mock-up they put together in Public Works was really exceptional, too, I might say.
All right, so is there a motion to approve?
So made.
And is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions? If none, roll call, please.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
aye.
Motion carries. Okay, any new business, or communication to come before the board? Trustee Schultz.
I've got two items. The first, and I'll defer to Village Manager Kelmer because he's the one who's been front and center on the ComEd debacle, the letter that went out telling residents that they were no longer going to get a lower rate. They're going to pay the ComEd rate, that their contract had automatically been terminated with Integris. Before I let him do that, though, the second thing is just a point of order, and I guess this is directed for a quick response from Attorney Kenny. Do we need to change the Class N license based on the discussion that just occurred during the Liquor and License Commission to indicate that it needs to be in a space that is walled off, so to speak, with a physical barrier of some sort?
I would say yes, based on the discussion, if that's going to be a requirement going forward.
Well, then I guess I'd be looking with the village president's approval to have staff look into adjusting the Class N license ordinance. So with that being said, go back to ComEd.
Yeah, and the board, it doesn't have any problem with addressing it? Yeah, okay. All right, so comment.
Thank you. I think as many of you know, many residents received a letter from Commonwealth Edison entitled Electric Supplier Choice Confirmation of Drop. And I will cut to the chase. This letter was sent out in error by ComEd, and it was generated through some confusion between Integris and our consultant, a little bit of lack of communication on both sides. What typically happens is that there is a list of customers that is supplied to ComEd that basically says these are the people that are going to be changing at some point. By industry standards, as it was explained to me, ComEd doesn't have to do anything. There's no notification that gets sent out or anything like that. However, when this went into the system, ComEd immediately generated a letter that everybody received here, and which then generated a whole bunch of phone calls in 7 communities and the like. I mean, I think we were the fortunate folks in terms of we received about 145 calls, and I think I answered about a dozen emails over the course of yesterday. So, the response that we gave everybody, and you know, I want to express my appreciation both to the folks and residents who called and asked, and you know, and the like, and to the staff who was able to quickly respond to this. The end result is you don't have to do anything except ignore this letter. Because unless you opted out when you made the choice about a month ago, this will not have any effect on you whatsoever. Basically, Integris's contract runs through the final meter reading in May. And at that point, the meter gets read, and then the next amount of juice that comes to your home will be from Constellation. Constellation is the energy supplier that, or the electrical supplier that the village board authorized and which our consortium entered into an agreement with. So nobody's going back to ComEd unless you chose to go back to ComEd. Now, there have been some questions about, well, shouldn't we go back to ComEd? I mean, I'm concerned about the rate and everything like that. There's a couple things to understand. As long as you stay with Integris, you continue to get that rate, that very reduced rate that we negotiated a couple years ago. If you decided to go back to ComEd, first of all, your rate is going to go up slightly to start with, but then you're going to be locked in with ComEd for 12 months. You won't be able to come back to Constellation. I mean, and then thirdly, and this is probably the most important thing and the reason why we went out to bid and worked with NYMEC to get this rate locked in, it's anticipated that ComEd's rate is going to go up by over a cent per kilowatt hour over what people are paying right now. So we're going to be in the 6.6 range, 6.26 cents per kilowatt hour. They're talking about ComEd's rate looking at 7.5 or potentially higher. So, and that's brown power rate for ComEd. We've actually locked in on a green power. So brown power is a little bit less. So from that standpoint, again, ignore the letter. You don't have to do anything. Last meter reading, conversion happens. You won't even know that it happens. I believe there will be a letter of confirmation sent out by Constellation just saying that this is going to take place. So from that standpoint, I think that answers the question.
And there was a very nice article, I guess it was on page 4 in the Daily Herald. Wish it was on page 1, but then again, you wouldn't have been above the fold on page 1 with your wood frog story there, Mick, so.
Okay.
Is that about it?
That's it.
Yeah, I was all over the radio today telling people, hey, they've already done a mea culpa and public apology on the letter, so. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. All right, is there a motion to adjourn? Or is there?
So made.
No, I had,
No.
I had the same question.
Oh, okay. Is there a motion to adjourn the board meeting? And
So
go
made.
to committee of the whole?
Second.
Motion second, roll call, please.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Motion carries. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you got it all. Okay, I'd like to call the committee of the whole meeting to order. First item, approval of the committee of the whole meeting minutes of April 1st, 2014. Is there a motion to approve?
So made.
Second.
Is Motion is second. Comments or questions? Deletions? Corrections? If none, roll call, please.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Abstain.
Motion carries. Request from Kids for Kids to operate an outdoor special event in the Metra parking lot. Thank you. Are there representatives here? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick summary. Stephen Brooks is here representing Kids for Kids, and they're requesting approval of an outdoor special event for the garage sale in support of the Starlight Children's Foundation. For those of you who don't know, this is a not-for-profit organization that helps families with hospitalized children by filling unmet hospital needs directly to the patient. This event would take place on Saturday, May 24th, and would be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and it would be located on the southeast portion of the Metro parking lot. The aerial showing the exact location is being passed around right now. There'd be approximately 75 families that would have the opportunity to sell toys, books, sporting equipment, and clothing in a garage sale setting. A $20 per family donation is charged, along with a 10% contribution from their sales. That's how proceeds are raised, along with charging any shoppers a $5 entrance fee, or they could donate a new toy. Also of note is there would be a temporary sign located adjacent to Route 45 during the duration of the event, and porta potties would also be provided. Again, all proceeds would benefit the Starlight Children's Foundation. For tonight, if the committee feels the special event is appropriate, staff should be directed to prepare a resolution approving the Kids for Kids garage sale, subject to the conditions that are outlined in your packet. And again, Mr. Brooks is here to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, any trustee Schultz?
How does that relate to or interact with the French market?
If they run that morning, that's obviously an issue.
The French market starts in forgive me, it's either the first weekend in June or the second one. The date is,
So we're 2 weeks in
so
advance.
there will be no
First
conflict.
Saturday in June is French markets.
So we're 1 week in front of that.
Super. Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I think that young lady
Yeah, I
wanted
was
to
gonna say,
say
you want
something.
some publicity here?
Pull that mic down, honey. Just reach up and pull it down. There you go.
This is part of her bat mitzvah. It's a charity project, and we thought we'd kick it up a notch and try to teach children how to be somewhat junior entrepreneurs. She's 13, so there's a whole bunch of toys in my home which are no longer in favor, and they'll certainly benefit some other children. So we want to teach kids. We have Principal Grana over at Woodlawn's endorsement to give out the flyers, and hopefully those will be our sellers. And then we'll bring in people to the train station and sell these toys to other children and benefit the
So
Great
we'll,
idea.
we'll
I
run
commend you.
something,
It's great.
Yeah,
we'll
let's
send
just
out
say-
an email blast,
What's
right?
strictly connected with what schools? I mean, because we. could
Well,
probably-
Maya goes to Woodlawn, so
Right.
that's our area of influence. I've already spoken to the principal, and he's going to give her permission. Starlight Foundation is going to produce some flyers for us, and we'll get some, hopefully get some other promotion from the village, but we're going to incent the children from Woodlawn, her peers in 7th and 8th grades, to be the sellers and bring their parents and then sell to other people in the area.
Okay.
It's still
Okay.
great. Yeah, I commend you. It's
Thank
a
you very
great
much.
idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Where is the Woodlawn School? What district?
Gilmer,
96.
Gilmer
Yeah.
Road.
Yeah, it's 96.
Right off of 83 there.
Country Meadows and Woodlawn.
Yeah, District
Right.
96.
Thanks.
It's a really nice school.
There's probably some children from town go there, right, or no?
Right.
Yeah,
Aren't they?
yeah.
Yeah,
South
Yeah.
side,
I
yeah.
don't know. We got a lot of schools. It's not bad at all.
District 96.
Okay, next item is request from North American Midway Entertainment to operate an outdoor special event at Westfield Hawthorne Mall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And the special event would be a carnival that would be staged on the Sears parking lot, generally located on the east side of the mall property adjacent to Milwaukee Avenue, across from the access drive where Denny's is. Customer parking would be provided to the north and west and would be accessed from Ring Road and/or Milwaukee Avenue. There would be barricades provided to separate participants from vehicular traffic. And the carnival, as with past carnivals, would include adult and children's rides, along with games and food. There would be 5 signs. Each sign is 18 inches by 27 inches, and they would be located on the mall property, one at each of the main entrances to the mall. The event would take place on Wednesday, May 24th. It would start then, and it would run through Sunday, May 18th. The hours of operation would be 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Wednesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Friday, 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturday, and finally 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Sunday. The application, along with the site plan, is attached to your packet, and if the committee feels the temporary use is appropriate, staff should be directed to prepare a resolution approving the special event subject to the conditions that are outlined in your packet, and there's many of them, including one in particular in which the carnival will be requested to submit a list of employees to the police department for background checks at least 7 days in advance of the event. And with that, the applicant is here to answer any questions.
State your name for the record, please.
My name is Ed Dame, Director of Operations, North American Midway Entertainment.
Okay. Are there any questions from the board on this?
Yeah, is this, you're not the same operator as last year, but
No,
the
sir.
same, but it's the same basic time frame, right?
Same time frame, a little different location. It's moved a little. It's moved a little north and east from where it was last time, but pretty much the same time frame. Yes.
But it'll be, I mean, are there any significant differences from what was done last year?
There's not, just a different company doing it.
Then motion to approve,
Second.
subject to the conditions.
There's a motion and a second. If no further comments or questions, roll call.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Where do you get the animals from?
The employees?
No. Is there any animals involved at all?
No, sir.
No, it's
No, just a carnival.
No animals?
Just the two.
Nope.
Okay.
Just for the record, we're, just for your knowledge, we're also the carnival company that does the Libertyville Days,
Oh, yeah?
the largest traveling carnival in the world. And I do need to speak with you, if at all possible, Chief.
Really?
All right.
And your offices are in Hoffman Estates, huh?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome. Okay, next is Police Department 754 Lakeview Parkway remodeling.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have representatives here tonight from the Hesner Corporation to talk through the conceptual plans and give you an update on those plans and the like. I've laid out in a memo in your packet with regards to the project again, and it's very, very, very similar to what was previously discussed as a part of the budget process. The proposed budget for the overall improvement, including furnishings, is right now projected at $3.5 million, and that it does include all costs associated with it, including architectural design services. We have a couple options in terms of financing the project, both through the issuance of bonds or the funding of the project through general fund reserves. Larry and I will work up some options with regards to that and come back to you at some point in the very, very near future. Staff obviously has worked with Hesner's for a long period of time in terms of developing the overall plans for the buildings, I should say. We've also had working relationships with them in terms of doing the update and the remodeling of the telecommunications center and that related building, and being the 740 building, and have a lot of confidence both in their design expertise and also their building expertise with regards to this. So we're prepared tonight to recommend the use of the Hesner Corporation for the preparation of architectural engineering design plans for the project. And if the committee feels that the plans and project are appropriate, we would suggest the following recommendations. That the staff be directed to prepare the necessary contract between the village and the Hesner Corporation for fixed design fees in the amount not to exceed $213,000, and that the staff be directed to prepare the necessary amendment to the FY 14-15 budget to fund these design fees out of the general fund reserves. And what we would do is anticipate bringing both of these items back for you as soon as the May 6th meeting for your consideration. And I guess with that, the Hesners are prepared to walk through the floor plans
Yeah, go ahead.
and show you
Is
whatever.
there coffee now?
There was coffee.
Oh, there isn't any?
We'll, you know what,
This is dead.
we'll check in the back. It was full,
Oh,
so,
this was?
yeah.
Yeah, once upon a time.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I need that to get this started, so, you know, I need some coffee.
Black.
Chief, right out of the box,
Yes, sir.
if they saved us any money since you and I did the tour?
No.
I believe there are that we did have some discussions and proposals on the table to replace the new furniture with gently used furniture. And I believe Mike Atkinson was discussing the use of manager at risk option, which should also help reduce some of the costs.
And the fees are gonna be what?
Approximately
No. What are the fees gonna be?
213.
Flat?
Flat for the architectural fees.
So what is that, 8%?
6.5.
6.5.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm just waiting for my coffee. If there's anybody else that has a question, you know.
Well, I'd love to.
coffee mate,
Get this
they'll take a
over
minute,
with.
Your Honor. Mike Atkinson, I think, is going to brew something up special
Oh,
for
is
you.
he?
Yep,
Special
absolutely.
you're getting.
He's almost a barista of sorts.
Maybe
Okay.
a special.
All right. All right, so basically, the dollar amount is still 3 million plus.
Correct.
Okay, and that's to do the work not only at the existing station, but the American Family Building?
In the 740 building also.
It keeps
Okay.
folding up too.
And how much is allocated to the American Family Building?
It's not even on there now, it's gone.
About 96,000.
Okay, so
I'll try this
does
one.
that bring the total down below 3 million, or is that?
No, it's still over 3 million with
Right,
that
okay.
96,000.
All right, so in essence, what we're doing is taking a building and redesigning it and utilizing 800 square feet that wasn't utilized before, right? We're not adding anything onto the building.
We are not.
Right. And the biggest expense associated with this is the roof.
One of the larger expenses, yes.
And how much is that gonna cost us?
436,000.
Okay, that involve any HVAC units?
It does not.
Only the lifting of them and replacing of them.
Okay, so we don't have to replace any of that?
At this time, we've been told that they've been serviced and they are functional.
Oh, wait a second, I heard yeses down here.
thought they had to be replaced.
Is that part of this project or not?
Yes, it is part of the project.
So-
There's one of the units is, it's down more than it's up.
Okay, so how much does that add to the 400 grand in addition to the roof?
I don't have those numbers. I never ran the replacement.
Well, I think originally we had about a $700,000 number on for roof and HVAC,
Yeah,
air
okay.
conditioning unit. So
Was
the-
that,
the
okay, so
two-
the roof is 400 grand.
The two combined were
Okay, so the
about 700,000.
HVAC is 300,000?
For 2 units.
It's about 220.
Okay,
Going back,
that's okay. You know, That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and you guys
That's
just
tot-
said, you
that's-
guys just said it was okay. So, what am I
No, you said
missing
they
here?
were told it was okay.
Oh, okay. So what does that mean? Does that mean we need it or we don't need it?
You certainly need it on one of the units,
Said you need it.
and one of the units,
Well, I'm just, you know,
one of the units is functioning fairly well.
But they're both.
okay,
paid
so,
for,
Yes.
correct?
all right.
They
So, all right, but 300 grand is, okay, if you do one unit, how much is one unit?
Probably about 110,
Okay. So if you do both, it's,
220.
okay, and so there's $90,000 then that we're already over budget on?
Oh,
Potentially.
Huh?
Potentially.
Okay, well, I don't, that's why I wanted, you know, come on, give me more than potentially. This isn't the United Auto Workers
No,
building here,
I
you know,
understand.
Christ. There was probably no budget on that thing. Come on, make it good.
Okay.
What did that building cost?
That building was, in 2005, $8 million.
How much?
$8 million.
A hell of a structure. How many square feet?
That was 28,000 square feet on 5.5 acres.
And what's our building? 24 plus the American Family Building is what, another 5?
About another, yeah, no, it's actually more than that.
the area of the existing building is 19,800, and the area of the 740 building is 18,240.
So we got more than the UAW building.
You do.
Yeah.
We do.
All right. What would it cost if we knocked the police station down?
And rebuild it.
We knocked the American Family Building down,
Oh, that's
and we
the one.
rebuilt.
On the 740 site,
I guess, yeah.
How many square feet?
it's 18,240, so you'd be,
3,000 square feet. You're talking, no, you're just talking about rebuilding
Well, yeah,
740?
the question is, what would you be rebuilding? Because the 740 building contains all the telecommunications.
36,000 square feet over 2 floors.
over 2 floors.
You'd probably be spending 12 to 13 million dollars.
Thank you.
Okay.
And all,
At
like
least.
just pointed out, all the communications would
At
have to be
least
done.
12 to
Yeah.
13 million. I think that might even be a little light.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we put it on another site, and so we can function, right? And we got land that we can put it on, right, board? Think about it. We own land. Right? So we put it there, and then what can we sell that site for? Where the police station is in the American Family.
What did we buy the American Family Building
Cheap,
for?
got it cheap.
2.5 million, I believe?
I don't even
No,
know if it was
less.
that.
Less
One
than-
point three, 1.4.
2 million.
Where are you proposing?
The man with the checkbook says 2 million.
Larry, was it?
So
No,
4
we had
million.
land.
Where?
Well, we never discussed that. All I'm saying is that, and will we need 38,000 square feet?
Well, I said 36.
We probably wouldn't need it all.
Could get by, although we have some tenants and we have the opportunity for more tenants too.
And hopefully this time do it right. And I was part of the board that, you know, we probably should have done a better job back in 91, I guess, you know, but there's not too many people here
No, I was that.
other than
You and
it was a threesome here, you know? All I'm saying is that, you know,
You're welcome.
you know, I mean, this isn't like,
I wasn't-
this is urgent, but this isn't like we don't have a decent place to operate in. Is it that, you know,
Yeah, it was.
is it so bad that
What's your-
people are gonna be jumping out of windows, but you can't jump far because it's only one
It's the
story?
one.
And the windows don't open.
The windows don't open, you know what I mean?
No,
But I
it's-
mean, seriously, to do it right, you know, before you retire. You know, Christ, where? I mean, I guess we could do it, you know, could we do it any place near the train station? I don't know. I mean, you know, we we haven't really discussed that.
Right.
Well, I don't think
But I
we've
mean,
discussed
is
it because
this-
the cost would probably be 5 or 6 times what we're proposing for this building.
Maybe, but,
And this,
but what I'm saying is, how many square feet do we really need?
all in one place? I mean, what I'm thinking now is we're working out of 2 buildings, and neither building is used to capacity because of the way that's constructed. This project here, the proposal is to basically rebuild the police department from the ground up, interior-wise, enclosing the atrium space and remodeling all the interior space with the exception of those parts that can't be touched, like the firing range, the garage, and the jails, because those are really expensive. So basically what we're getting is a brand-new building for about $3.5 million.
Okay, but with that said, Chief, I guess looking further out than, a 5-year or 10-year horizon, what's going on in communities that are probably on the bubble as far as their policing efforts in general? Is everybody gonna just run to the county when they don't have the money to operate like where you used to work? You know what I'm saying? How many towns are kind of falling into that category in this general vicinity? And the consolidation of what? More dispatching too. I mean, the consolidation, of the police departments and fire departments is probably not a bad idea. Because when you step away from the curb, where does all our money go in our operating budget? And it goes to you.
Well,
It really does, Chief. Most of the salaries in this community go to the police.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yes.
So I'm not adverse to doing it right, before we're all, pushing up daisies. But I mean, just.
When you say that?
Hey, just relax. All right. But what I'm saying is that, is this the right thing to do? I guess, all right, $3 million, then, we won't discuss this in the next 4 years, right?
I certainly hope not.
But I mean, you got a building that's basically an insurance company building that, we bought and it was a good deal, blah, blah,
It's an
blah.
office building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a police building.
Correct.
So I'm just saying, I mean, what if we find out, well, we could do it for $6 million, and by knocking down, the American Family Building? I don't know. I mean, are you gonna say it's gonna be definitely $12 million? Is that what you guys would say?
For,
What are you using, 300
30
bucks a square foot or more?
yeah, I would say that's.
300 bucks
Yeah,
for the FF&E?
right,
Okay.
right. And site improvement.
So you're using the 30,000 plus square feet?
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, okay, fine. All right, so it's, again, I mean, if the board, thinks that this is a good thing to do and we just move on, I don't need these guys making a presentation.
Okay.
But I mean, Chief and I went through the whole building. I'm just talking, do we do it right? Because we didn't do it right the first time because we're back here doing this. And obviously, we didn't do it completely right the first time because we bought the American Family Building, to accommodate. And it was a good deal.
Yeah.
But that whole site there, is it even 4 acres? The whole site?
I doubt it.
Well, remember, there's also floodplain on it that kind of restricts some of the development opportunities there too.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying, I mean, again, it's centrally located,
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. But
Centrally located, great location for it. I think what you have though here is a building that through this remodeling will last us 30 or 40 years at least. And quite frankly, from a per square foot standpoint, I think it's highly unlikely that we're ever going to need additional space above and beyond what we have today. I mean, you all have seen some of these communities that have built these Taj Mahal buildings. I mean, and
oh yeah, I've seen them.
you know who I'm talking about.
I've seen a lot of them.
That's
I don't know how many people, but some of these towns got more sworns and support people too. But yeah, I know.
But
like you look at Glenview.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't know what they.
I mean, Highland Park did the
Did you
same
guys
thing.
build that one? Where else did you build a police station? Did you do one?
We did one in Deerfield, and we did one in Northfield.
And you did,
Those were
How
remodelings.
many, how was Deerfield, a remodeling?
Those,
Yeah.
yes.
did you do remodeling in one of the W's? Winnetka, Wilmette?
Wilmette.
We did the planning, it was never executed.
Got it.
All right.
But I think what we have here are two buildings that will serve our purposes long-term for a very long time. At least 3 chiefs from now.
Really?
You know,
right.
that'd be my guess. At least 3 chiefs.
You know, I'm just gonna wanna make sure everybody gets the written,
That the minutes
record of the-
reflect.
yeah, let the mayor,
Well,
yeah.
Chief, you concur with that?
I absolutely do. I really do. I honestly don't see our police department growing much larger. The community is more or less built out. We have a few more projects and developments coming online. So let's just say, I'm not suggesting this, but let's just say we hired 5 additional people. This building will accommodate them and then a few more. And, you know, part of the problem is the lack of foresight in what the demographics of our department was going to look like back then. You know, when it was built in the 90s, it was, and you've heard me say this before, so I'm probably rambling, but nobody anticipated the number of female officers or female employees we have. Not only do we have 1/3 of our sworn officers female, but we have female CSOs. We also have 2/3 of the telecommunicators are female, as well as our supervisory staff. That was never anticipated. And the way in which the building is used was never anticipated either.
So are we okay at the American Family Building for, you know, any potential expansion in the next 10 years?
Yes, sir.
Dispatching?
Absolutely. And when we,
Yeah, with that said, would we need, how much, well, how do we project then, how many square feet we would need potentially? Because right now, we're only using what?
for dispatching purposes? Oh, geez. It's only a few thousand square feet. It's not that much.
Right.
You don't,
So, I mean, so even if you doubled that, it would still be a small portion of that building?
Correct.
Okay.
And when we designed that, or I should say when the Hesners designed that building, when we planned for the communication center, we built the current communication center with the idea that we could expand, and we have. And we can still expand larger if we need to, given the space we have. It'll take moving some walls and minor remodeling, but they're not load-bearing walls, moving some offices and making the workspaces larger. But it can be done relatively quickly and relatively simply, and relatively
the
inexpensively.
same area without moving out into.
Exactly. You're not talking about moving the big walls out, just a reorganization of the space that's in there, eliminating offices, moving them to either the interior of the 740 building or to the backside of the communication
Well,
center.
principally, that building is, you know, structurally, it doesn't have as many walls, interior walls.
No, and they're built rectangular.
Right.
That's a big difference because our
Yeah,
current
I know,
building
that
is
was built For a
triangular.
cubicle operation.
Yeah,
you know.
no, that's true because the one large room was just one big huge room set up for cubicles,
Right.
which makes it perfect for remodeling.
Okay, so what's the bottom line on this project? So now we might not have to spend $700,000 on the roof and the HVAC, or?
I mean, the budget number on this project's $3.5 million.
Well, I know, but I'm
So-
talking, well, the roof and the HVAC is $700,000.
And that's in part of that
I know,
cost.
okay. So is there any hope that we might save a couple $100,000 there?
The hope is that, you know, if we can get this thing in a real detailed and competitive position, that all kinds of things can happen. But the biggest hope is that we can get the entire program into this budget of $3.5 million, including all things considered. That's what the goal is to get everything in this program in there.
So this is a budget, but there could be cost savings?
There could be.
Or there could be change orders that go the other way?
You know.
Right, come on.
There-
You
there
guys have
could
been
be, yes.
involved in that.
There's
too.
always in that potential.
Well, okay, do you see any big change order?
I don't.
No. we've looked at this for a long time. See, we've looked at this
Problem with my
since
question.
2006.
You never see change
Well, you know what I'm
orders.
saying?
I
You
know
know, price
exactly
change
what you're
order.
saying.
It's always potential.
All right. Okay, so the bid specs are gonna be such that you may not be the general contractors?
Right now, we're anticipating that we would be the construction
And
managers
that
at
includes,
risk.
and that's the same fee included in that, the 200 grand is either way?
No, that's the design fee.
Those are the
Right.
architectural fees.
Okay, so what would be the GC fee?
It would be a fixed cost at 6.5%.
Okay, so that's roughly 180 grand?
Yes.
All right, so you guys are, potentially gonna be paid $400,000 or more.
Just under.
Okay. I'm sorry, I might have rounded a little bit. All right.
Look at these blue things.
What if a build design GC comes
Still
in
there. They just turned color.
and bids on this?
A build design GC, that's exactly what we're proposing.
What, you understand? So, okay, so what would happen if somebody truly is a general contractor with, you guys don't have any labor?
We don't have any
You don't-
trade.
You don't have any labor.
We don't have any trade.
You don't have any employees.
Correct.
What if somebody comes in that does and bids on this? No, we need to discuss this.
I don't think it will be any different.
Really?
I don't.
Okay.
Well, this,
But is it gonna be open to them?
Yeah, because what happens when you do a CM to construct at risk, you basically have a set fee that you put into that contract, and you go out to public bid, you approach the market,
Right.
you get the advantage of the market, all brought in, open bid, and then qualified.
But everybody understands the difference between a general contractor and a paper general contractor, right?
yes.
Yes,
Okay, they're paper,
right.
okay? So you don't have complete control, and nobody does, of all their trades.
Correct.
But some
correct.
some people do have, though, they bring in some of their own people to do certain things.
There's some that do.
Not as many as there used to be
Right.
There's not as many as there used to.
because of the Great Recession.
It was a big one.
Yeah, all right.
I found it.
Okay, well, okay, so Howard, who's, I guess shepherding this with regards to the bid specs,
Well,
besides them?
I mean, it'll be staff that will work with them. Mike Atkinson will be looking at this. I mean, Mike's worked with them on a couple of other projects with regards to this, so
Yeah, I know.
we'll be, well, I just want to remind you, so,
You don't have to remind me. They know, they know real well
sure.
that I know. Okay.
So
I know you know.
Well, I'm sure they know,
Okay.
yeah.
I just want to make sure, yeah.
You don't have to, you might make that comment to somebody else sitting up here, not to me,
Okay, okay.
okay?
We lost a tree and flags. and
Yeah, all
some of these
right. Well,
drawings.
okay. So is the board comfortable with approving a $3.5 million budget for this project?
We're not at that juncture. We're, at the juncture we're at is to
Flags are on.
create a project that will be a design, not a design build, so to speak, with a single contractor, but a separate design project here. And we are looking to award that to the Hesner Group to do the design and create the detailed contract specs and drawings necessary to put out for public bid, at which point in time we'll determine whether or not it's a $3 million project, a 2.9, a 3.4,
Or
whatever. And at that juncture, we then make the decision whether to go ahead and award a contract, make changes to the specs, and award a revised contract. Tonight, it's my understanding we're looking for the Committee of the Whole to approve or to direct staff to enter into an agreement for $213,000 for the creation of the design bid specs for the renovation of the 2 police buildings, with the majority of the effort on the existing 750 building,
754.
754 building, excuse me.
And then the other item would be to, and these will both come back to the board for approval under I believe it'll be a resolution authorizing.
Has a separate vote, new.
It'll be a separate. And then the second item for your direction would be for us to prepare the necessary amendment to the budget that would allow for the design fees to be paid out of the general fund reserves. So those
Do
would
you
be the
need
two.
Two separate motions, or can it
All
be
right,
one motion?
let's start with the first one. I move to
Yeah.
initiate a project for the design not to exceed $213,000 of the renovation of the police facilities by the Hesner Group.
Second.
This is the architectural fees.
Yeah, fixed design fees. Right.
Okay,
Create the contract specs.
okay. There's a motion.
And a
Is-
second.
Is there a second?
Yes.
Okay, any further comments or questions? If not, roll call.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Motion carries.
At
Thank
this
you.
juncture,
Thank
I'd
you.
like to make a motion to pay for the, all right, direct staff.
To prepare the necessary amendment.
To the
Yes.
14-15 budget.
Right, out of the 14-15 budget for the design fees out of the general fund reserves.
Second.
Easier to say what John said.
Well, no, it's
It's-
easier when you got a computer that doesn't take forever to
And this,
refresh itself.
and not to
At least you
exceed,
got one that shows
not to
you
exceed,
something.
183,000 what?
No, 213.
213,000.
We've already.
Oh, yeah, the other one was the
Yeah,
180, okay.
this is
Just to
just to pay for it out of general reserves.
Okay.
Second.
So motion is seconds, comments or questions? If none, roll call.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Schwartz?
Aye.
And for the record, I would vote aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
I'm
Aye.
jumping ahead of myself.
That's
huh?
all right.
President Byrne?
I'd vote aye for the record. Okay, motion carries. Is that about it?
Thank you.
For the purposes of our television audience, we've all gone through these presentations. I really don't want to drag it out, but is there some way within the television program we can insert with a little bit of dialogue, either at the end of this meeting or whatever?
Sure.
Stay tuned, folks.
You have a picture
Yep.
right here.
Yes.
You have all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Diane.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
More than what's
Okay.
showing.
No, no.
No, I mean, pictures. It's doing a
Now
minute.
let's get to your
What was the last big project we did?
This,
No,
this,
Nike site, right?
well,
No, this building.
Oh, the Nike site was 15 million bucks, I thought.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's
Oh, I
a
thought
lot
you-
more than
I thought
three and
you
a
were-
half.
I thought you were talking about, no, this
talking
was
about
I thought
building.
you
7.5,
project.
almost 8.
What?
This building,
This building.
about $7.5 million.
In the
To do
TIF
what?
district, just
Build-
putting
build this-
the TIF district.
White elephant.
Oh, you mean to build the original police station?
No,
Oh,
to
this
build-
building,
build
yeah,
this
okay, fine. Well, that was years ago.
The
This
village
building's, this is a function over, form.
Exactly.
That's what I've been told.
the village's.
But I was
portion of
told
the
that by my,
1980s.
son. I'm going, what the hell are you talking about,
He went to
Anyway.
Nebraska.
Your son is a wise young man.
Yeah, he said, well, but you're basing it on the aesthetics, not on functionality, so.
I don't
We
know.
let staff,
Oh, heavens,
we
I
let
based
staff
mine
have
on
all their
function
input on this, and it
aesthetics.
is functional, isn't it?
It absolutely is.
It's a joy to work.
It absolutely is.
Can't we
Your Honor.
put the dispatch center here and sell the American Family Building?
We
Ah,
have
forget
so
it.
many comments on the, and compliments on this space, it's
When you're in it,
awesome. No, and when people come to it, I mean,
yeah.
it's a great
Even
building.
No,
though
I know
they
it
think
is
it's a
good.
basketball hoop on the
He
top
All
of the
doesn't
building.
like the home run basket because it makes.
Exactly.
Yeah, put the vines on it, I don't care, it'll be another millennium before they win. Okay, video gaming, follow-up discussion, anybody here for that? No.
Do we want
Excuse
to?
me.
No.
Um,
Sorry, I jumped ahead
I'm
of you.
sorry.
It was just a follow-up information. You had asked that we contact some of the larger property owners, and we did, to find out how they deal with this video gaming in their leases. Westfield basically says no. Inland doesn't regulate it with their smaller leases, but their larger tenants have the ability to say yes or no.
Right.
So, you know, it's.
Well, I've known that
it's
for a long
different kind
time.
of-
I mean, I knew that, you know, from Genovese and his people a couple of years ago. You got at the mall, it's like, you know, a lot of owners there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's nothing new. The same in this inland, Scott Carr, I think, was the guy who originally told me from inland.
Yeah.
You know, but with that said, I just wanted, is anybody prepared to discuss this tonight, since this was just dropped on our desk? This is the Elk Grove, ordinance that.
We didn't get it.
Well, no,
No, I mean, nobody, so that's,
it didn't get circulated tonight, no.
oh, well, then why don't we table this until we, personally, this is the one that I talked about that would tie it in to where we'd have a lot more control, other than us just saying, okay, gambling's legal now, and then the state kind of statutes control. Where I thought this one gave us more input.
I can talk through what that,
You know what I'm saying?
what that involves.
Well,
Did you get Wheeling's also?
I don't know. I mean, but, you know, I called late this afternoon and, you know, so I didn't clearly communicate at the last meeting. Shame on me, I guess. Because I thought this was pretty important.
What happened in Elk Grove Village is they created a new liquor license, so
Right.
that if you want video gaming in your facility, you're gonna get a different class of liquor license than you otherwise would. They also created, shall we say, a subcommittee of the liquor license to deal with that. And I talked with the gaming board about that idea and other ideas of putting controls on it. Now, if you ask the gaming board, they're going to say that once you open the door to video gaming, the village doesn't have control. Now it's the gaming board that issues the licenses, and that's it. But a lot of towns, Elk Grove being one of them, have come up with different regulations to limit and restrict or gain some control as to where those go in. So in Elk Grove, they have a special license that you have to apply for over and above your gaming license. Now, the gaming board does not have any enforcement dollars or personnel. So, and they have no desire right now to go chasing down what different communities have done. And no one has challenged it yet. But if someone challenges it, the gaming board's.
Would that have any effect on Westfield Mall saying no, Sears, Carson's, Penny's, or Macy's saying no?
No.
In their lease agreements, would that still control?
Well, yeah, I'd say the leases will control, because the landlords will say, we won't allow you as a tenant to have video gaming
Right.
in our premises.
So that would still supersede the state saying that I'll give you a license?
Well, yes, but they have to have a liquor license from this village
Okay.
as a
But
prerequisite.
are you going to sit there right now, Bob, and say that if Dave and Buster wanted their 5 machines, if we say, yeah, okay, gambling is legal, they could get it without the lease that they have in place with Westfield?
No.
So what, the
lease-
agreement the contract with Westfield would control?
Yes.
Right.
The
Okay,
landlord.
so the contract would control with Inland
Yes,
and whoever owns these other centers now?
yes. The
Okay, so basically you're taking out of play, you know, millions of square feet
Yes.
of retail in this town, okay? So in essence, it comes down to, you know, I guess the guys that own the building, you know, and the land. So I don't know, you know,
Well, I'd like for us to get a chance to see this ordinance go forward, because
yeah, I don't know.
well, but you're supposing that Westfield and Inland and them all control these pieces of property in perpetuity, which we all know they sometimes turn those properties over to other people.
And it
Westfield
happens all the time.
Westfield has divested themselves of a number of properties in the U.S., so,
So's inland, sure.
yeah, so it would be, if we could look at this, get a chance to look at this ordinance and then come back and discuss it, that would be.
I'd like
I guess the
Yeah,
only,
Because
I mean-
anything, I'm in favor, of anything that we can find to give us a little more local control
Right.
is a
and I
plus
think
for me.
that the message then that I would give to you is, because of the current state of affairs at the gaming board, we can exercise local control over the permitting of that. And then at some time in the future, when somebody challenges it somewhere, and the gaming board gets more money to run their office, and they can do some enforcement, if we don't like the enforcement, we can, our option is to say no more video gaming in town. And as soon as we do that, they will pull the machines out of town. There's no
Yeah,
grandfather.
what you're saying is that we can go back to, okay, no
way we are
gambling,
today.
period.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's the first time you've stated that.
Right, and that came from. the
So, you know,
conversation-
so there, we do have
Where did that come from?
the bottom line control.
Yes, we
Okay.
have the ultimate bailout.
I'm just saying, we got about 4 or 5 people that have contacted me, and they kind of own the building, then they own the land.
And
And you guys can probably count them on one hand.
and-
You know, and they're not in the strip, the regional centers or the mall.
Who told you that
So-
you could do that?
Those are people
Well-
who want it or don't?
Nobody's, nobody at the gaming board came out and told me we could do that. What they said at the gaming board is they don't have the personnel or the money to enforce any of these provisions. But if you would call them up, they'd say, no, that's not the way it was designed to be. However, many municipalities have come in with a lot of different ways to control this, either by saying they can only be in industrial zones.
But the gambling board, whatever, gaming board said that we could at any time, if we did it, withdraw it?
Yes, the process is, we would adopt an ordinance prohibiting gambling in town. And then the CCS entity that's controlling all the machines, they would immediately pull the machines out of town.
Gotcha.
No questions asked. They would just, we adopt the ordinance, and then they would take the steps to pull the machines out.
Anyway, it's
Easiest thing to do
immaterial.
is just don't do it.
Yeah, okay, trustee Schultz.
Just to be clear, it's an all or nothing. In other words, if we allow it and we get 4 or 5 users and we have one abuser and we want to pull it out, we have to pull it out of all 4 or 5 establishments.
Well, it depends. We're gonna, let's assume
Well,
we're
but
gonna,
that's assuming that the liquor license is not really a valid control mechanism.
yes.
Under the auspices of the, and plus also, we can pull a liquor license for related police matters, which that may in fact become associated with that. So I don't think they'd want to have video gaming without having their liquor license. Well, they couldn't have their, if they didn't have a liquor license, so I
But I
can see
think the
that.
bottom line of, we would have to pull the plug on all of them is the right attitude to take.
Right. Now, that wasn't really the point I was wanting to get to. My point was initially when McCarthy's, which no longer is in existence, came before us, and the young lady from Australia, she came in with a blueprint that showed a demising wall, and it was like a 4-foot-high wall, and it was contained next to the bar area. Now, I have been led to understand that a velvet rope is as good as a demising wall. And I've been advised by someone in a community near ours that is planning on installing video games, and that's all they need is a velvet rope.
It is already in one of the communities close to us. That's all it is a rope.
Yeah, so
And
that seems to be a change from the original direction that we got from the gaming board. Can you kind of elaborate on that or do additional research on that?
I can, what I'll do is I'll look at the statute and the wording of that statute. It was to be a segregated area, so it's probably language that allows some interpretation. But if we're going to control this, for example, by a liquor license, we can do the same thing we just did with the liquor licenses that came before us. We wanted them behind the counter and, up and down so that no easy access. That could be one of the requirements of our liquor license, that it's got to be a demising wall, not,
A velvet rope.
I was down in the St. Louis area on the Illinois side, and they had maybe a 4-foot-high wall that you could see over. You could see the top of the machines, and if someone was sitting at the machine, maybe you would see their head, but the bar was here, the area was there, and the restaurant's out here, so someone at the bar only has to look over and can see into that area.
Right, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Very accessible in terms of visual, and out of sight, out of mind for all practical purpose from the larger bar and restaurant area.
No, it really, they've got like a wrought iron fence around it, 4 foot high, and that's it.
But the bartender can't see it?
I saw the same thing Bob described in Springfield.
I didn't know until I was walking out that it was even there, and I saw these machines, and I was like, is this a kids' gaming area? Because it's a bar, and I'm like, oh, there's 5 machines. So it was very unobtrusive,
Yeah.
very unobtrusive.
Okay, trustee Markwart, we got to go to closed session.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for what, litigation and
Personnel.
personnel? Yeah, okay.
My big question is that I
This is mine.
look at possibility of a lawsuit, possibly, but.
The what? A lawsuit?
Well, because you change it, someone could challenge
Everybody
you with
can.
it. But the big thing is probably, if I asked on the board right now, who's in favor of having this at all? And I believe I know of probably myself, I'm not a lover of it, and I believe there are 2 other trustees that are not a
I'm not in
lover of it.
favor of it.
So technically, there may be more than that, and where are we going with it if we don't want it?
Poll the board.
That's where I'm going.
So you want to poll the
So
board?
I
Poll the board?
personally, why don't we take a look at who wants it or who doesn't want it and leave it at that? And instead of spending the time looking at all this and saying, hey, this is what this town's doing, this is what this, you don't want it, let's not have it.
What if, what if it was a higher percentage than 5%?
Doesn't matter to me.
I still don't think I'd like it.
Okay.
He's asking to poll the board.
Yeah, you know what, I mean, I don't care if we poll the board. I just, I guess there's people that have asked for it. Is it gonna become so pervasive in town, they're gonna set up these cafes in the shopping centers, and that's, regardless of them selling it, the center, I can't imagine that they would totally change all the leases. But, I'm wrong, I've been wrong many times, I could be wrong on this. I'm just saying, people have asked about it, if you want to poll the board, okay, I'll poll the board. Gene?
No.
Mike?
No.
Barb?
No.
Yes?
Tom?
I'm undecided because I haven't seen any specific plans, but I'm leaning toward no.
Nope. I'm like trustee Cook, but I'm a boy from upper Wisconsin, and every bar has 5 or 6 machines, and they're not the end of the world.
Yeah.
So I can be swayed either way, but I'd need to see an actual request.
And that's
My,
not,
my biggest concern is I wish we had more local control. That's my biggest concern.
And that's what I intended to discuss tonight, and that was the reason from the last meeting to bring it home, and apparently I wasn't succinct enough. Okay?
Still get all of that and do that if you want.
You know, and if it comes down to, I mean, if you want somebody to apply, I mean, I guess I could have 4 or 5 people who apply. Would that make it any different then? You know,
To me, no, but that's okay.
you know.
But I don't have a problem with you wanting to bring this stuff in and we can look at it. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
you know,
there's,
if you want,
obviously, there's 2 people that want to and you make 3, so if you want to bring more information in, I'll sit down and look at it.
Well, you know.
But am I gonna change my
I mean,
mind?
I don't think it's
99%
gonna
nope.
go away, and, you know, I mean, going back in time, I have to admit, you know, the previous 5, 6 years, would this have helped the man pie guy? I'm not talking about, you know, the Brinkers of the world and the guys that, you know, are franchises.
Well, we don't
You-
have mon pie guys really in
No, you got a handful of them, Gene. You really do. And if you can count them yourself if you stop and think it through.
Well, I'm more concerned about the residents, so, than I am the few mon.
Yeah, are you hearing from them?
Yes. I've-
Really?
Yes.
Really?
I've asked a lot of residents.
What, at the golf course?
Yeah, as they come in and we start talking about it.
Yeah. Do they live in town or?
Yeah.
Not all of them.
A lot of Vernon Hills residents live in town.
All right.
But I see Vernon Hills as a family community. I don't see any benefit for this for our town. And if we've got some
So
entrepreneurs in
So
town.
you think this would raise the crime rate in town?
No, I just don't see it. We're a family community. I don't see a need to add gambling to our, it does not help our community whatsoever. It might help a few ma and
Well,
pa, but
you
if
know-
they're already doing okay, they don't need more money
Did
in
we
their
vote
pocket.
to allow the lottery in town, or should that not be in effect in town? People selling the lottery tickets. That's gambling. Yeah, well, I mean, no, well, you know, this is worth talking about, Tom, come on.
Well,
I mean, what-
not if we're gonna talk about the lottery. That's, yeah, okay, so should we not have a lottery? They used to call it running numbers in the city of Chicago.
Okay.
Well, now the state took it over.
So is it
sure did
created
take
a
it
lot of
over.
heartache
Took every
and
damn
crime and
penny.
chief? I mean, the lottery,
I don't,
is that a problem?
I asked, could we see this ordinance you wanted us to look at? And then maybe have a
Well, I
more
mean-
cogent discussion at a later date.
And I thought we were gonna have that tonight, we didn't have the
Well, I
material.
don't have
So
the
we'll
document.
bring it
to-
back.
No, you
Get that
didn't.
in.
I mean, I'm the only one who gathered about it before the
But we
meeting.
could
Yeah.
bring it
But
back.
what I'm saying, is the lottery gambling?
Your Honor,
Is the lottery gambling?
Yes.
it was,
Yes, we'll
Chief,
stipulate.
is it
It's a
gambling?
different form
Yes,
of
it is.
gambling, but.
No,
it's
no, I
a
don't need to hear from
The
the board. I
defense
need to hear
stipulates
from
that
the
it is
chief.
gambling.
Is it gambling?
Which?
Lottery.
Sure.
Yeah.
And who benefits from it?
Education does.
Yeah, right.
It's helped, it's helped
Schools.
For education, I
teachers'
thought.
pension
The
fund, right?
schools benefit.
I'm in favor of congressional legislation to allow sports book outside of the 2 states that they currently have it.
Meeting,
Oh,
you
no.
go to
Yeah, well,
executive
me too.
session.
You know,
Second.
I'd like to see Chicago have. sports
okay,
books.
so there's a motion to adjourn
And go to executive session.
to discuss, personnel.
Yeah. And
correct.
Anything else?
And litigation.
Okay. All right, roll call.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye?
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you and good night.
There you go.
Well, now you, well,